Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The great KT McFarland, national security expert, former Trump administration official. And KT, we've been talking... And one great lady.
Smart.
Always good for radio and TV, by the way. And KT, this is Jake Novak. Listen, we've been talking all morning. Our theme of the morning, America under attack. It isn't just bombs and terrorists and things like that. It's also fentanyl. It's campaign finance, law breaking. I mean, how much of this is even on the radar of defense people and national security folks?
Well, everybody should swim in their own lane. I mean, the Defense Department is worried about the military threats to the United States, the intelligence community, intelligence threats, homeland security, homeland threats, but they all have one theme in common, right, which is to destroy the United States, either from within or from without, financially, economically, militarily, socially, politically. And I think that's one of the greatest things that President Trump is doing, and doing it in our 250th year. We're proud again. Make America clean, make America beautiful, make America proud, wave the flag, don't be ashamed. We've been sort of coddled in or sort of cowed into thinking there's something wrong with America, and America is in decline. And America is in decline because we deserve to be in decline. That's the Obama mindset. You know, we're a fading nation, but that's because we deserve to be, because we're fundamentally evil, whatever the reasoning they have. But it's great to see someone who is unapologetically beating his chest for America.
KT, I'm going to go in with you. Let's copyright and trademark this slogan. Pride is the first line of defense. What do you think?
Absolutely, pride is the first line. And not false pride, justified pride of all the things that the United States has done, all the things that the United States is currently doing, and all the things that the United States is capable of doing, not only for ourselves, for our people, but for the world. I mean, just think about the conversation we're not having right now. We're not talking about Hamas. We're not talking about the Palestinian wars. We're not talking about something that has been foremost on everybody's foreign policy mind for decades. Hamas has been tamed. The Palestinian areas, Gaza, that's being rebuilt. And it's being rebuilt because President Trump forged in his first term an alliance, an economic alliance, a trade alliance between Israel and the Gulf Arab states and the United States. And the result of that was prosperity for those nations. And then when it came down to Gaza, another fight in Gaza, yet another October 7th, what happened? Those same countries that were in the Abraham Accords that President Trump created in the first term, they then have risen to the occasion in a security relationship, and they've also sidelined Hamas. So it's just one thing after another. The fact that we're not talking about the border anymore. The border was an open sore, and yet that's been solved. I think that in a year from now, we're not going to be talking about Iran. We'll be talking about something else for sure, but I think the Iran war will be solved. We're not going to be talking about the Strait. We're probably not going to be talking about oil because it'll be so cheap it won't even be an issue.
Katie, this is Fernando Mateo. Thank you for being on with us. I want you to know that as an immigrant to the United States and as a U.S. citizen of the United States, I am very proud to be here. And I think that most immigrants that are here, that came here legally, that came here looking for that American dream, still hold the flag very high. I think that it's foreign nations, socialist nations that want to infiltrate the U.S., that want to downplay our power, you know, the wellness of the United States. Yes, President Trump has made America great again. But guess what? America has always been the nation that every country envies and every immigrant wants to be in. So, you know, we carry it with a lot of pride.
Well, as you should. You know, the Iron Curtain, the wall between the East and West in Europe during the Cold War, that was built to keep people in, not to keep people out. And the walls that we're building are because people want to come in illegally, and it's the one direction everybody wants to come to is to rush to America. I once talked to someone in the Middle East, you know, who's involved in Afghanistan and some bad guys in Afghanistan, and he said, you know something? If the United States declared Afghanistan the 51st state, we'd all be thrilled. And nobody can quite figure out why is America so exceptional. I think what happens is that, as you said, you're an immigrant. You came to this country probably with nothing, and you've made yourself a great success. We in America is where you come to reinvent yourself, or even if you're already here and you don't like your lot in life, you reinvent yourself. But the difference is that America as a nation, we reinvent ourselves as a nation, where we overthrow the ruling class of the day. We do it at the electoral, we do it at the ballot box, and we put in new leaders, new policies, and we then become a better country. I mean, if you think of the Industrial Revolution, the political changes that happened then, we threw out the old ruling establishment, elected new leaders who then took us to another dimension. If you look at the Reagan Revolution, well, the country was gotten moribund and the economy was bad and the foreign policy was bad. We got rid of Jimmy Carter and the old guys, put in new people, new system, thriving again. And we're the only country that reinvents itself as a nation. Every other country it rises, it shines, it has its moment in the sun. You know, the Roman Empire, the British Empire, all the empires of the world, and yet they then finally go downhill and they crash, and you never hear from them again. Who talks about the Portuguese empires today? Nobody. The American empire, you rise, shine, wobble a little, reinvent ourselves, and then rise again even higher.
KT, it's Richard Weinberg. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, yesterday, the Supreme Court issued a decision eliminating temporary protective status to immigrants from Haiti and Syria because they were here for years and years and years, and it was a violation by the Biden administration of the protective status rules, and the Supreme Court saw through it. Now, Governor Hochul of New York has just announced that because of this Supreme Court decision, this will cripple New York State's healthcare system. Does this make any sense to you at all?
No. You would think just the opposite, right?
I mean,
you would think the people who came in for, quote, temporary safety and then stayed forever have not been people who have necessarily contributed to the economy and to the Commonwealth. They're people who have been taking from the public health system. And now if they're no longer protected, they have to go home. You would think, if anything, it would be a savings.
And could you explain to our listeners what this temporary system was all about and why the Supreme Court was correct in its decision?
Okay, so it was, I forget which administration it was put in, Carter, somewhere, by a Democrat administration saying we'll give temporary assistance to people who were fleeing oppression in their countries. Not meant to be permanent, not meant to be citizenship, not meant to be a forever thing. It was like a safe haven that we were offering, and it was particularly countries, Haiti was the one country particularly, and fleeing either oppression or economic hardship. You know, Haiti always gets hit with these massive natural disasters. They could come to the United States, no questions asked, stay here for a while, till they got their act together, till their country got the act together, and then they go home. It was never a backdoor opening for citizenship, and it was also never vetted. So by a stroke of a pen, Barack Obama or Biden or Jimmy Carter before him would let in 100,000, 200,000 temporary residents who could come and take advantage of the safe haven in the United States. But it got abused because those people, once they got here, didn't want to leave. Not only were they receiving social benefits, social welfare benefits, but they thought a better opportunity here. Now, were they following any of the, stand in line, wait your turn, immigrate to the United States rules? No, they jumped the queue, and they tried to stay permanently ahead of the queue. And that's what this decision was about.
KT, we're also talking about something else here, and that is our elections. And look, we have to have secure elections. And I know you said everyone should swim in their own lane, but is it time for a unified special effort starting with the Pentagon, just because there are aspects of this that are military? I mean, we do have military-funded terrorist groups and paramilitary groups like Hezbollah that we know are funding operations in this country. I mean, is it really a swim in your own? Is this just something for the FBI to do, just something for Homeland Security, or is there a Pentagon aspect to some of this?
So many of these things, as you point out, really are now, multidimensional. When I was in the White House, and we would sit in the Situation Room and be talking about a national security issue, but you would often have a representative from the Justice Department or the Treasury Department. You expect to see representatives from the services, from the Pentagon, from the State Department, from the intelligence services. But because everything is sort of interwoven now, they need to be present. They're stakeholders in the issue. If you look at what we've just done with Operation Epic Fury and then Operation Economic Fury, the 1-2 punch the United States was able to do militarily against Iran, Iran's military, against Iran's proxies, but then the 2-punch was as the Operation Epic Fury, the blockade of the Strait, then that kind of morphed into Economic Fury. And that's when the Treasury Department took over, where the Treasury Department could sanction assets, could find bank accounts, could find hidden bank accounts, could break into cryptocurrency, money laundering the Iranians would do. And so that's a good example why you swim in your own lane, you have your own areas of responsibility, but then you meet together and in the person of the president. The president's the only one who really is responsible overall for everything. If you're the Secretary of the Treasury, you're responsible for Treasury. You're not responsible for Army training. If you're the Secretary of War, you're not responsible for finding errant bank accounts that are where Iranian money is hidden in offshore accounts.